Do 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 do. Playing video games, it's kind of my favorite thing to do. Boop boop boop. Can't help but think that I forgot about something. Was it to update my collection in Nintendo Age? No, I'm up to date with that. Did I remember to renew my subscription in Nintendo Power? No, it can't be that. Nintendo Power has been gone for 2 years now. What could it be? Oh dear God. I completely forgot about the top 10 video I told everybody I'd do in January. I better get on that right now. Whoa, I know this is long overdue. Hey guys, I'm MichaelBtheGameGenie, and today to celebrate reaching 10,000 subscribers on YouTube and to celebrate my 3-year anniversary on YouTube, I'm going to share my top 10 games of all time. So anyways, today guys, I'm going to be sharing my top 10 games of all time. Let me classify this a little bit more. I'm not saying that these are the 10 best games that I've ever made. I'm just saying that these are the 10 games that I've enjoyed the most growing up. So it's kind of my top 10 games of all time, but it's also my top 10 games growing up. Really, it's one and the same, so I hope you guys can see this. I know that my list is going to be very different than everybody else's, but hey, it's based on the games that I played growing up. Anyways, let's get on with the list. Number 10. Super Castlevania 4. There are so many amazing games in the Castlevania series that could have been on this list, especially some of the later Metroidvania type games on the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance. But looking back on it, Super Castlevania was the game that truly hooked me on the series. Funny enough, I almost never even bought it, as reading up on the early Super Nintendo releases, it was kind of painted as a remake of the original. I ended up coming across it at a rental store for $7 when I was 14, and I decided to take a chance on it, and boy, am I glad I did. Super Castlevania was one of the first games where I honestly got lost in the atmosphere of the game. From the little details like the wooden bridge shifting under your weight to the amazing look and feel of each stage as you progress throughout the castle. Not to mention some of the amazing music, including Simon's theme, which is one of my favorite pieces of video game music still to this day. This game wasn't a remake, but a remastering of a timeless classic, and although purists prefer the style and feel of the original, this is the best game in the series for me. Number 9. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I know immediately people will say, how can you put this masterpiece so low on your list? Well, because it's my list, and I am of the opinion that it isn't the greatest game of all time, let alone the best of the franchise. Now that doesn't mean I do not absolutely adore Ocarina of Time, because I do. The moment I stepped foot into this amazing adventure and explored Hyrule for the first time in 3D is a moment I will treasure forever. From standing in front of the Great Deku Tree to get my first amulet, to watching Ganon ride out of the castle with Princess Zelda captive, was breathtaking. The environment was immense with so much to explore and do. The combat felt awkward at first, but the Z-locking made it a pleasure and a staple for every game that came after it. I truly love Ocarina of Time and still enjoy playing it today, but not as much as I enjoy the classic gameplay style and dungeon layout of the originals, and if those games never came before it, this would be much, much higher on my list. Number 8.
Super Mario Bros. 3.
I don't know a single kid around my age that saw The Wizard and didn't spend every single day after that waiting to finally play Super Mario Bros. 3. And thankfully for the millions of us that were waiting, the game delivered in spades. Super Mario Bros. 3 changed direction from the second title and went back to the original gameplay concept from Super Mario Bros., but added so much to it. There were level maps for each themed world with Koopa Kids to fight at the end, and so many different stages to pass before you could. The game brought back the power-up system, but this time it included a leaf that allowed you to turn into Raccoon Mario and fly. That's right, you got to fly. Name one kid who hasn't daydreamed about that. And you also got to wear a frog suit. It was great for swimming stages, but that was about it. There were secrets in the stages, sub-boss castles, ghosts, and warp whistles. This game has it all, and is nothing short of a masterpiece. And because of that, for almost a year, this game never left my NES. And that also includes having friends over. It was just that good.
Number 7. The Legend of Zelda.
I will be honest, I was very intimidated originally by The Legend of Zelda when I was a kid. The idea of having to explore to find the next level and not having my hand held was terrifying, as I hated getting lost in games. But thankfully I overcame that fear. In fact, my fear turned into jubilation as I started exploring, burning bushes and bombing walls to find hidden passages with heart containers and large sums of rupees. I started really enjoying collecting the items in each dungeon and finding out how to use them in the overworld. As a kid, there was nothing cooler than sharing with your friends that you found a sword upgrade or took the raft to find a heart piece. Shigeru Miyamoto wanted to create a game that gave you the same experience and excitement he did as a kid exploring caverns. And I can honestly say, every time I turn it on, I still get that feeling.
Number 6. Star Fox 64.
Okay, some of you may be questioning my sanity at this point, but I am dead serious. Star Fox 64 is really that high on my all-time favorite game list, and especially of my games growing up. Funny thing is, I wasn't even that big a fan of Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, but this game just had that something special that after I bought it, I couldn't put it down, and it rarely, and I do mean rarely, left my Nintendo 64. Right from the opening, where you fly your arrow wing over the water and take on your first couple enemies, I fell in love with it. The graphics, controls, branching paths, and secret challenges enthralled me and kept me coming back for more and more. It was also the story of Star Fox 64 that captivated me, from taking on the Star Wolf team with the treacherous Pigma in tow, to defeating Andros only to have your long-lost father show you how to escape the base before it explodes. If that didn't bring a tear to your eye, you must be dead inside. A fantastic game, and maybe the best on the N64. If you don't think so, I strongly urge you to go back and play it again.
Number 5. Super Mario World.
I'll never forget watching Saturday morning cartoons and seeing a commercial that asked me this question.
You've played every Mario game. You've conquered every Mario game. You think you've mastered all there is to know about Mario. Well, you better think again. New Super Mario World, made possible by the power of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
What? There is a new Mario game? From that point on, all I could think about was getting a Super Nintendo and playing it. Well, it took a couple years, but at 5 a.m. on the Christmas morning when we got it, I immediately dove in and explored this new and beautiful world until I went to bed at 3 a.m. the next morning. To me, this is the best game in the franchise, even greater than Mario 3. Yeah, I said it. The game is beautiful, and the ability to traverse the entire world and backtrack at any point really made it special. There is also the fact that for the first time, you could actually save your game and come back to it at any point. This was a huge plus for me because there are just some levels that are so tricky that it takes multiple attempts to beat it, and not having to replay the game every time to get back there extremely added to my enjoyment. Simply put, Super Mario World takes everything that is great about Super Mario Bros. 3, and no pun intended, supercharges it, and for that reason alone, it's the best Mario game.
Number 4. Super Metroid.
What is left to be said about Super Metroid that hasn't already been said? The game is a masterpiece in its truest form. For me personally, I was surprised how addicted to this game I got so quick. As a kid, I couldn't stand the original because I always felt underpowered, and at no time did I ever really understand where I was on the map. But I jumped in, and almost immediately, I was captivated by the atmosphere and story the game had to tell. This game certainly made it easier to enjoy Metroid by including an on-screen map, which allowed me to easily navigate my path and actually enjoy the exploration that makes Metroid so special, like searching for the next power-up or secret path to advance the game. The music wasn't the upbeat fare that I typically enjoy, but it honestly fit perfectly for the experience of being isolated on this planet and created a sense of dread I have never felt from a game like this before. After this game, I became addicted to games of this nature, whether it be a new Metroid on the GBA or one of the great Castlevania games that borrow so heavily from its concept. 20 years later, and I still get the chills playing this game. It stands the test of time.
Number 3. Mega Man 2.
No one should be surprised to see Mega Man 2 this high on my list. It is, and it has always been, my favorite game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Mega Man 2 was the perfect mix of challenge, tight controls, amazing graphics, and one of the best soundtracks ever. I was captivated by just how different this game was, as you got to choose your path through the levels in Robot Masters, and there were unique challenges in each stage that could easily be overcome by using a particular weapon or power-up from another stage, or simply by being really good at playing without abilities. But I would be amiss if I didn't say I agree. The metal blades make certain sections of the game ridiculously easy, but as you progress through Wily's castle, this reliance on the metal blades has to be dropped, as they are ineffective on some of the later bosses, so get used to expanding your knowledge of the weapons you pick up. Is Mega Man 2 the best Mega Man game? I don't know if anyone will ever agree, but to me it is, and my favorite game on the NES.
Number 2. Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII captivated me in a way I never thought it would. I mean, I didn't even like RPGs, but I had to play this game the minute I saw the commercial. The post-apocalyptic future world it was set in seemed so cool, with the concept of magic and mystery all rolled into one. I actually wanted to learn how to play role-playing games, and the active time battle system made that experience not only enjoyable, but added heart-pounding excitement as well. The beautiful FMV cutscenes were a reward worth working toward and kept me motivated to move forward, but it was the story that really captivated me. The soldier with the fuzzy memory, the early red herring of Shinra being the bad guy, while all along it was maybe my favorite video game villain of all time, Sephiroth, who was long thought dead. There were just so many twists and turns in the game that I spent over 80 hours exploring, grinding, and absolutely having the time of my life to see the game to its end on my first playthrough. Not only did I enjoy the game, but it created an almost 20-year love affair with role-playing games that led me to play and finish so many others, but nothing has ever recaptured the feeling I got from Final Fantasy VII.
Number 1. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
This should be absolutely no surprise for anyone who has watched my top 10 Super Nintendo games video, as I said it right there and then. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is my favorite game of all time. I felt that way when I was 11, and at 34, I still feel that way today. Nothing I have played to this date has captured my interest or made me enjoy a video game experience as much as playing this game. The top-down world was beautiful and such a treat to explore, and seeing this 16-bit imagining of Hyrule is still breathtaking today. I can honestly turn this game on and play for hours on end until I have the Master Sword before I realize how much time has passed, and no matter how many times I play through it, it never gets less enjoyable. If I made this list again in 10 years or 20 years even, I would say it's a safe bet that A Link to the Past would still sit right where it does today.
So guys, that was my top 10 games of all time, or better yet, my top 10 games growing up. I know it's remarkably different than probably everybody else's list. You gotta remember, I did this based on my pure enjoyment and my time I've spent with the games growing up, not based off any factor of best graphics, best gameplay, anything like that. Just the 10 games that have stuck with me the most throughout my life. So, guys, I hope you understand. And I know your list is gonna be so different. And the cool thing about any kind of top 10 list is you guys are free to, comment down below what you would have put in the list, what you would have taken out. And feel free to give me your list, or even if you want to do a video yourself, hey, throw that in the comments as well. I'd love to check it out. I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing to my channel. 10,000 subscribers. I'm actually a little over 13,000 subscribers now. That's amazing. I can't say thank you enough. Like I've said, it's been 3 years here on YouTube, and the reception I've received has been great. It makes it so worthwhile. There's been a lot of things that come up that kind of make me turn away from YouTube, and I was saying, oh my god, I've got so much going on in my own life that I can't get to this, but you guys have always been there. Even if I take a break, I come back and nothing's changed. Everybody's still very positive and they want to see my videos, so it makes it so much fun to make them, and I'm glad that, I know this took an extremely long time, but I finally got around to do it. So really guys, I hope you enjoyed my top 10 games of all time, top 10 games growing up. Hopefully, when I hit another milestone, I'll have another top 10 up. If not, maybe I'll just do one for fun anyways. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. This is MichaelBtheGameGenie, and I'll talk to you next time.